definitely not. No, we do. You know, with the two, you just want the inside backers?
You're still just coaching inside.
Okay. Right now we'll start, we've got the two inside backers. We got Mike and Mo is how they're termed. The Mike right now, I think we're going to have L.A. or Lauren Goree at the Mike, and at the Mo will be Demetrius Hartsfield, and backed up Mike will be Cole Foran, and Bradley Johnson will be backed up at the Mo. So that's how we'll start the first day of spring.
How do you like the new scheme with your guys, and how does that translate?
You know, it's good. I mean, you know what? It's not a lot different from what we did last year with the Mike and Will, which is good for me. You know, so there's a lot of carryover, a lot of the same teaching. So from that perspective, it's going to be easier for those inside backers during the spring practice.
What did you think of Demetrius's season when healthy last year, and how, like you say, how similar is what he's doing this year to what he was doing last season?
Well, I think Demetrius has at times played really well. The thing that happened last year to us, as you know, is the injury bug. So Demetrius, you know, got moved around quite a bit, you know, with injuries. You know, he would go bounce in from the Mike to the Will position. So it was a little bit tough on him because he was a little inconsistent from time to time because he wasn't getting the great feel of playing the one position. But you know, toward the end of the year, I thought the last 4 games he really came on and played very well. He was healthy. You know, we expect him to come back and have a big year for us. You know, we're expecting big things from Demetrius. You know, he's very athletic. He's big. He can run. I think he's starting to feel more comfortable with the schemes, and he made the transition from an outside linebacker to going into the middle. And I think he's starting to really understand what his role is as an inside backer.
How do you like working with Coach Stewart now? His aggressive attitude.
Coach Stewart's been he's been great. You know, it's you know, I think he's brought certainly an excitement to the program. He's been really good with the kids. He's got he's a pretty intense guy. You know, he brings a lot of energy to every day, and he's just a good guy to be around. You know, he's been, you know, obviously he's got a lot of experiences. You know, he's been in the NFL, he's been at college, he's been at those levels, and you know, he's just he's an everyday kind of guy. You know, he likes to grind, he likes to coach football, and he likes to get in there with the guys. So I think it's been great.
I know you guys are bringing in a lot of freshman linebackers. Is it going to be kind of sort of adjustment in 2 stages here for you guys in a lot of ways, having your current linebackers and then obviously a big crop that comes in later on, I think?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it was one of our needs this year in fulfilling the recruiting. You know, those guys, the one thing you miss out on is those guys play special teams. You know, they're a big proponent of special teams, and they're a big part of it each week. And so I think that the added depth will help us. You know, we're still getting to a point where we're trying to get as much depth in the program. And, you know, right now we're counting on young guys to come in and help us compete and try to win a lot of football games.
Who are some of those young guys that jump out at you at least early now that you signed in the class that could potentially be?
Well, you know, we obviously we're very happy with the guys we signed. I mean, we signed 5 of them. All of them have different attributes that really stand out. I mean, from the inside linebackers, the guys you'll probably see end up there would be Brock Dean is a guy who's very explosive, very cerebral type of player. Abner Logan could be a guy who can be a swing guy. He could be an outside linebacker, an inside linebacker when it's all done. Again, can run very well, athletic, probably a little bit raw as a linebacker at this point. You know, guys like, you know, Sean Petty, a really good athlete from Eleanor Roosevelt. I mean, we talked, you know, here's a big kid who can run, who's athletic, can flip his hips. You know, so we're just excited about the athleticism of the guys that we are bringing in.
Bradley Johnson's a guy that swung back and forth and maybe not necessarily had a permanent home in his time in the program. How do you see him fitting in back at an inside backer position?
Well, we made that move probably, I want to say maybe midway through the season last year. You know, the toughest part for him, he was playing the defensive end, and then he had to go back and try to learn how to play linebacker, and I think he was a little bit behind in that respect. I think the run game piece was really good for him. I mean, he's already has an understanding of schemes and seeing things move in front of him. I think it was the pass game stuff that he's got to get to learn a little bit more. And I think being here in the spring and having that, he's going to have a great opportunity to he's going to be in it too deep. He's going to get a lot of reps, so we're going to see a lot of Bradley in the spring, and hopefully he'll develop really quick because he's another kid who's got some physical abilities, can read him, but he's limited in terms of his passing attempts right now.
Besides LA, Demetrius, Cole, and Bradley, do you have any other scholarship linebackers for the spring at this point?
For the inside, no. Those are the four. I mean, we're experimenting with Alex Twine a little bit. Right now we're talking about he's going to have a chance to play as an outside backer, but we know we can always move him back in. So I mean, Coach Stewart's really trying to figure out the guys. That's what we're doing with the winter conditioning and the workouts. You can kind of see some of the things they can do athletically. But until they really put the pads on and start running the defense, then you get a better feel. So, so we got a couple of guys who could still swing as an inside backer.
When you're recruiting these guys, I know people talk about when you're coming off a down, 2 intense seasons, that can hurt recruiting. But in a way, did you find that it also helps in the sense that some of these guys can be excited about knowing that they can come in and contribute right away?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the selling points. We tell kids. I think everyone's going to tell kids that. Anywhere in the country anyhow, but I think the reality is when they start looking at the roster and looking at the depth charts, they say, hey, they do need help right now, and I got a chance to go in there and maybe impact it, get some plays as a true freshman.
Coach, who do you see as needing a big spring, this spring, take the next step, a guy you're waiting to make a move?
Well, I think the whole defense needs to take a big step. We need to grow up as a full defense. At my position group, I mean, obviously, I'd like to see all those guys really take a big step up. I want it to be as competitive as can be. Those guys are where they are right now. That's day one, but a guy like Cole Ferran and Bradley Johnson have as much chance as those other two guys in front of them. That's a starting point. So we want all four of those guys to be competitive every single day in practice.
Any other experiments this spring?
No, I think that's right now that's kind of where we're at. Really when you look at the change from what we're doing with Coach Stewart and last year's defense was we're basically just going to put an extra linebacker on the field and take off a defensive lineman. So you may see a couple D linemen who may stand up and play a little bit more as an outside linebacker, but they're still going to be playing in the same position.
Good.